As we mentioned that inshallah this class we're going to do it Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, so we can finish the book. And also inshallah in the last 10 days of Ramadan inshallah we're going to do another book. Hopefully that can be done within 10 days inshallah. At the same time, straight after Asr. I'll let you know the book. Something very short, concise, that can be done within 10 days. But it'll be every day in the last 10 days. Inshallah ta'ala. Okay. And to this end, does anybody have any questions before you begin?
Good.
If there's any questions before we begin. طيب. خير. بسم الله.
While reciting, you should be full of the immensity of the speaker, unlike those who recite with expert talent.
Actually, if you start from the beginning to remind us, if you want to hold the microphone closer to your mouth, you take it out.
Chapter 6, directing one's own attention to God and devoting oneself to His worship. A disciple should be the furthest of people from sins and forbidden acts, the most conscientious in carrying out his obligations, the most eager to do what draws him nearer to God, and the swiftest in performing acts of goodness. The disciple differs from other people only in attending wholly to God, being obedient, and freeing himself from everything that may distract him from his devotions. Let him spend his breaths carefully, hold on to his time avariciously, and only expend it in what takes him nearer to God and benefits him on the day he needs him. He should have a daily will of every kind of worship, so that he will have a number of those to hold on to tenaciously and never allow any of them to be neglected, however difficult his circumstances. He should recite the magnificent Quran frequently, reflect on its meaning, and chant it with its words correctly.
طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى ال سيدنا محمد وتتعلم التعليم وتذكر التكفير ونفع وانتفاع وفي الاستفاده ودعوه الله خير وحكمه سبحان الله والحمد لله لا اله الا الله والله اكبر ولا حول ولا قوه الا بالله العلي العظيم. So on the next chapter, inshallah, of this amazing book, and remember that this book is talking to a specific group of people. As I'm talking to the general masses, this book is talking to those people who are serious about getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's a murid, those who are wanting to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intimately, wanting to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more closely, and wanting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to know them. And these people will differ from everybody else. Their salah will be different, their fasting is different, their reading of the Quran is different to everybody else. Their experience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their day-to-day lives, in the minutes and the seconds that they live, in every breath is very different. Very, very different to anybody else. The person who just comes and prays and goes home and just fasts and breaks his fast and outward, which is better than nothing. But this person is very different to the person who, when he reads, when he prays, he really means Allah Akbar. When he says the words Allah Akbar, Allah is the greatest. And this is very interesting when you, in the time when you break your fast, and the adhan is going off, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Really, what is greater in your heart? Is it the food? Is it the date? Is it your thirst? Is it more greater? Or is it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more greater? The word Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. When we have the iqamah for salah, people are still talking, eating and so forth. Iqamah. And then we have the Imam says Allah Akbar, Allah is the greatest. And then people are busy, still eating, busy going to the toilet, or busy with themselves, or busy talking. And we haven't heard the words Allah is the greatest. Allah Akbar. Greater than you, greater than your food, greater than the appetite, greater than the fast, greater than the day you've been fasting in, greater than everything. When we say it, Allah Akbar, every day, but do we mean it? Do we mean the word Allah Akbar or not? Because if we say Allahu Akbar, we mean it. Allah is greatest, greater than everything else. Greater than me, greater than the mosque, greater than the building, greater than the food, greater than anything. Many people just say it in every service. Allah Akbar. Which towards the end of time, Al-Mahdi alayhi salam, when he comes, his army will say Allahu Akbar, and the walls of Constantinople will collapse. As we narrated, the walls of Constantinople will collapse. Our Mashaykh have told us, and they tested, they said to the students, if everybody in the room, the Shaykh said, if everybody in the room was to say Allahu Akbar, the piece of paper in my hand wouldn't shake. Whereas in the past, when people say Allahu Akbar, miraculous things would happen. When they say Allahu Akbar, their legs could be amputated in their salah and them not feel anything. Such as the salah of others and salah of those who know others. So now we're going to talk about the recitation of the Quran and its importance.
While reciting, it should be full of the immensity of the speaker.
It should be full of the immensity of the speaker. Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one speaking to you in the Quran. Allah is the one speaking, not some person. Which is why the ulama have said that you can tell the difference between the hadith and the verse of the Quran. The verse of the Quran is very different. The verse of the Quran is unlike anything else. Whereas a hadith is the speech of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the speech of our Prophet is unlike any other person, any other person's speech. But if you notice, Quran, even a hadith al-Qudsi, the hadith where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking, very different from when the Prophet is talking. Very different. Very different. Levels. But when we're reading the Quran, how much attachment, how much awe, how much ta'aleem you have for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will depend on how your experience that you have with the Quran. When Allah is warning you, you'll feel fear. And when Allah is telling you or promising you of the great things that are waiting for you, you feel happy. But people, they go, the whole Quran they read throughout Ramadan, they'll read the Quran themselves. They never have these emotions. They never feel fear, they never feel happiness, they never feel sorrow, they never feel amazed. They feel amazed, and some people maybe are just focused on the voice. The voice, if the voice is nice, but what about the words that the voice is reciting? More important, the words that the voice is reciting is more important than the voice in which the words are being recited in. And people subhanAllah like, I live to hear the Quran, I live to hear the Quran and it's sung in a nice way. There's nothing wrong with that. However, when you're it's like a distraction for some people from the words itself. Had the person recited something else, not the words of the Quran, and the person listening will still find it beautiful. Why? Because the voice, but not the words. You understand? There's a big difference. A big difference. I was in Tarawih in Yemen, and the Imam was reading Salah. People would pass out. People would pass out. People would collapse. Not out of exhaustion, not out of tiredness, not because the fast was long, but because of the fear in the verses. The Imam would read the Quran with fear. And this would invoke a reaction in the person listening, and the person pass out. This is not something during the time of the Sahaba. This is something I saw with my own eyes. People would pass out. People pass out. When someone is scaring you, you put in this fear, so you can't control the shout. La ilaha illallah. This is happening in the time of the Sahaba, when the Sahaba passed out. So one of the Sahaba couldn't read much Quran, because every time he read the Quran, he'd pass out. You see the difference? Hearts alive. The same book. It's the same book. The same book they had, and the same book we have now. Allahumma bis al-hal, the state, the hearts of those who are very different to the hearts that you know. SubhanAllah. And is that something specific to that time? Or can anybody achieve that state? Anybody can achieve that state. People say, oh, that was the time of the Sahaba. They were the Sahaba. طيب. Were they human? You're human. You know? Oh, that was the Prophet. طيب, but Allah sent the Prophet to you to copy. Had the Prophet been an angel, okay, fair enough, you know. You can say, okay, it's difficult to copy an angel. But the Prophet ﷺ was a human being. Unlike any other human being, Bashar, yes, Bashar. He, Allah sent him so we can copy. So there's no excuse that we can't copy and emulate the Prophet. And if there's no difficulty in copying the Prophet, in that which is told us to copy, the Sahaba can be copied as well. Here's the whole point. Which is the whole point.
While reciting, it should be full of luminosity of the speaker, unlike those who recite with expert tongues and loud voices that are distracted and have hearts which howl neither exaltation nor reverence for God. They read it in the form it was sent down, from its opening to its end, yet know nothing of its meaning.
Know nothing of the meaning in that book. Nothing of the meaning whatsoever. They know nothing of the deep ocean. And then people, subhanAllah, maybe people listening were benefiting more than them. People listening, they'll be benefiting. People crying, people and so forth, and people, you know, want to change their states. And the one reciting it, subhanAllah, no, he has nothing from that. The heart, same speaker, the heart's different.
Nor of the reasons why each verse was revealed. Had they known, they would have acted. Knowledge alone is of no use. Knowledge alone. If you have ilm, if you have knowledge alone,
without any amal, without any works, without you acting by knowledge, that knowledge is against you, is a proof against you. I know this is haram. I know looking at girls is haram. Everybody knows looking at girls is haram. Everybody, Nobody here. Everybody knows, but people do it. People do it. People still look at girls. People look at things they shouldn't look at. Now that's a proof against you now. It's a proof against you because you can't plead ignorance. Oh, I didn't know. That's no one told me it was haram to look at girls. Now you know. Which is more, Allah's going to hold you more to account because you knew. Difference between the one who didn't know and made a mistake. Big difference. He's ignorant. But the one who knows and continues to do it, he has no leg to stand on.
One who is ignorant and one who knows but does not act on his knowledge are no different, except that the latter will have a stronger case made against him before God. Seen in this light, ignorance is in a better situation.
SubhanAllah, the one who is ignorant, who does not know that something is haram, is better than the one who knows and practices the haram. The one who doesn't know is in a better state. The one who doesn't know is better than the one who knows but still does the haram. Which is why some of them say it's better for the first person to be ignorant. It would be safer for him. Would have been safer for him.
This is why it was said, ignorance is better than knowledge that is of no benefit.
Ignorance is better than ignorance is better than knowledge that one does not act upon.
O disciple, have a share in night prayers, for the night is the time when the servant is alone with his Lord.
Qiyam al-Layl, very important. Very, very important for those who are serious about getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qiyam al-Layl, tahajjud. Very, very, very important. The ulama, the real ulama, you'll find the real ulama will be praying Qiyam al-Layl. What do you mean Qiyam al-Layl? Before Fajr, they're up half an hour, 1 hour. Some ulama, 1/3 of the night. The last third of the night, they're awake. At the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks, is there anybody wanting forgiveness? I'll forgive them. Is anybody asking for something? I'll give them. The last third of the night, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everybody asleep. Everybody asleep. This is night. And the ulama who know how to interact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who know how to make use of the time, this last third of the night does not go by and they're asleep. Very, very rare. Unless they're sick, otherwise they're awake. It's the time Allah is asking them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asking them this time, who wants me? Who wants to be close to me? I'll give them what they want. Who wants forgiveness? I'll give it to them. And we have to know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our aqidah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't in the heavens. Allah Azza wa Jalla, we discussed this. To think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be inside His creation. Allah can't be inside His creation. Allah is not inside you and He's not inside me. Obvious. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot be inside His creation. Time and space are two creatures, or two things that have been created. Time and space are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. And if we agree that Allah cannot be inside His creation, then how can Allah be inside of time or space? Allah is outside of time and space. And nobody can disagree with that. People like say, oh, Allah sitting on the throne. We don't accept that. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah do not accept that. Allah can't be sitting on the throne. Why? Because Allah Azza wa Jalla, as we have in the Quran, if you like to go, who fi samawati wal ard. If you want to translate that literally, He is in the heavens and the earth. Well, hang on a minute. Is he in the heavens or the earth? Well, this verse says He is in the heavens and the earth. Well, if we take that literally, then how can He be on the throne? Sitting on the throne. If the other verse says He is in the heavens and the earth. You understand? He's either sitting on the throne or He's in the heavens and the earth. If you can take all these verses of the Quran literally. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَسِعَ كُرْسِيُّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. His throne is vast, bigger than what? Samawati al-ard. Well, hang on a minute. If He's in the heavens, if He's in the sky, or if then His throne is bigger than the heavens and the sky. So all these things contradict. If you take them literally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There's nothing like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is not inside His creation, not inside time or space. That's our aqidah, aqidah Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. لا شاعر ولا تريدية إن شاء الله تعالى.
Make abundant pleas for help and forgiveness. Commune with your Lord with the tongue of the humble and needy.
Humble and needy, it's the state in which you should be talking to Allah on the last day of the night. Humble, needy, a slave, a poor person looking for Allah, looking for help in his life.
The heart where complete helplessness and abasement are realized. Beware of neglecting night worship, for dawn must always find you awake and remembering God, transcendent and exalted is He. Chapter 7. Excellence in the performance of ritual praise. Presence with God is the essence of all acts of worship.
Presence of God. Presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowing Allah. Everybody knows Allah is present. Everybody knows Allah exists. However, we don't want that in our prayer. We want Allah for us to have a heart present in our prayer with Allah. Very different. Everybody knows Allah exists. Everyone in your prayer, your heart will be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, presence of heart. Who are you worshipping? Who are the one you're talking to? Who the verses are you reading when you're down? Sami Allah wa hamidah, Rabbana lakal hamd. You're talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not talking to somebody else. So your heart has to be full of awe, khushu', hudur, ta'aleem, and ta'aleem of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you make it get the most out of your prayer.
O disciple, strive to your utmost to make your performance of the 5 prayers satisfactory.
When we say satisfactory, your 5 prayers have to be at the level that is satisfactory, meaning that your outward forms are correct. Which means that we follow one of the 4 schools. Our prayer is either called the Shafi'i school, or the Hanafi school, or the Maliki school, or the Hanbali school. Okay? That's what we do. Okay? This new talk that people are saying that we don't follow the Imams, we follow the Quran and Sunnah, there's a load of rubbish. A load of rubbish. What? You think that the 4 Imams are following something else? You think Imam Shafi'i wasn't following the Quran and Sunnah? You think Imam Abu Hanifa wasn't following the Quran and Sunnah? What were they following, the Torah and Injil? People are rubbish. People are foolish who believe this. We haven't come across people to explain things correctly to them. And those who have, and still continue on this way, These people are blinded. Blinded. As Allah Azza wa Jalla open up their hearts, they can see clearly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His last sharia, Allah has decided that His sharia and the sharia of His beloved sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is going to be upheld and preserved and transmitted through these 4 imams. So what's your problem? This is Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah has decided this. You have a problem with Allah? Or you want to do something else? You want to follow a different way? Allah chose Imam Abu Hanifa. Allah chose Imam Malik. Allah chose Imam Shafi'i. And there were other ulama, but Allah chose those 4, their understanding of the Quran and Sunnah, to continue. And you say, no, we don't understand it. No, we leave them, we follow the Quran and Sunnah ourselves. If you can follow the Quran and Sunnah, if you're like Imam Shafi'i who read the whole Quran every night, you go Ramadan, you're like the ulama of the past, then you have hadith, thousands of hadith with the sanad, then you have the Arabic language, then you have to then you why the verses were sent down, you have the prerequisites of a mujtahid, go ahead, delve into the Quran and Sunnah. But no, nobody has ever claimed this, and the ulama have agreed. Except Imam Suyuti, he claimed it, but he took it back. And so this is the topic that we need to talk about, inshallah, because there's a lot of foolish talk from young men and women who haven't come across the ulama, haven't come across traditional ulama who have ijazah, and they're talking a lot of rubbish. And they're confusing a lot of people. Okay? Very causing destruction, disastrous effects in themselves, in their relationship with Allah, and with everybody else. Many disputes, many arguments are coming now because everybody now is an imam. We had 4 imams, now we have 4,000 imams in one mosque. For example, in Alawi, this is bid'ah, this is haram, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. 60 years ago, this was unheard of. 60 years ago, maybe you could say 30, 40 years ago, these arguments were happening. Thousands of years, hundreds of years, the Ummah was united on 4 imams. Now, all of a sudden, no. You have to leave this. When we ask these young men and young women about following the Quran and the Sunnah, they don't really follow the Quran and the Sunnah because they can't, they don't know how to. In their day-to-day affairs, they'll be asking a scholar, they'll be asking somebody to explain to them, what do I do here? You know? And they're following that person's interpretation of the Quran and the Sunnah. What we're saying to these young men and young women, we say, why can't we follow, a school of thousands and thousands of scholars and their views that have been purified and brought into points? Why can I not do that? But you can ask your Sheikh. Oh no, my Sheikh follows the Quran and Sunnah. Imam Abd Alawi didn't follow the Quran and Sunnah. Imam Bukhari, let's not forget, Imam Bukhari was a Shafi'i. Despite him recording thousands of hadith, despite him knowing many hadith, he still had to follow the ijtihad of the scholar in terms of the Quran and Sunnah. What he didn't know the Quran and Sunnah, he knew it. But in terms of recording it and understanding it are 2 different things. Hadith and fiqh are 2 different things. And these things are lost on some of our modern reformers, people who reform, these new reformers of Islam in the different things. This is lost. Which is why you'll find young people who don't have fiqh, they'll go to hadith, they'll go to Fath al-Bari, and they'll take out the opinions of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. He's a Shafi'i, by the way, that's his opinions. But in the Shafi'i school, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani's opinions, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, not Ibn Hajar al-Haytami, Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, his opinions are by no way near the mainstream mu'tamad opinion. A lot of people, subhanAllah. Somebody was saying once that, why is it in Ramadan that we have all these discussions and debates come about? When in Ramadan, people are coming out together. And the ignorance of the Muslims is a lot more apparent in the month of Ramadan. Allah lift ignorance that's descending down. And the ulama would say that one of the main problems is our lack of adab, our lack of courtesy, of good manners, of behavior in dealing with our scholars. If Al-Bukhari, knowing all his hadith, Imam Muslim, knowing all the hadith he knew, Imam Tirmidhi, Imam Nasa'i, despite them knowing his hadith, despite us reading their books of hadith, still saw it a necessity, wajib, and I say wajib, necessity to follow a madhab. And who you and I, to come now and say, no, we follow the Quran and Sunnah. When the people who follow the Quran and Sunnah follow the madhab. Very simple. It's simple as that. But subhanAllah, some people's hearts are closed. They won't understand. Even that simple analogy, some people will not even understand that. A lot of the time it's arrogance. نحن رجال وهم رجال. They're men and I'm men. I have a brain. They have brains. Yes, you have a brain, physically, but you know, how's your photographic memory? How's your to recall hadith, recall verses of Quran? How's your intelligence? You can't even understand this basic rule now to draw between the connection between the Imam Bukhari, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Nasa'i, Imam Tirmidhi being Shafi'i. You can't even understand that. How are you going to understand it in the Quran and Sunnah if you can't see the connection that they follow the madhab? SubhanAllah. Do we have to follow a madhab? Yes, wajib. Wajib. You have to follow. You have to follow madhab. What else are you going to do? You're going to follow. Do you have to follow ulama? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, ask those who know. And the dhikr. If you do not know, ask those of knowledge, those of remembrance. The ulama have said, yes, ask the ulama. You don't know? You ask the ulama, and the ulama tell you what to do. Every single scholar has followed the madhab. From the time that Imam Shafi'i, Imam Malik, Imam Ahmad, Imam Abu Hanifa have come, every single scholar followed one of those four to this day. Only in the past 30 years, things started to change. And only towards the end now, where we're having division and disunity and problems, now that these people come and say, no, we follow the Quran and Sunnah. No, I follow my Sheikh. My Sheikhs understood the Quran and Sunnah. The hadith are all here. La ilaha illallah. We'll talk more about it, inshallah.
And do that by making your standing, recitation, humility, bowing, prostrations, and praise, other obligations, and sunnahs complete in every way. Before entering into prayer, bring to your heart the awesomeness of the one you wish to stand before, majestic and high as he. Beware of communing with the King of Kings, the subduer of tyrants, with a distracted heart, deeply lost in the valleys of unawareness and whisperings, roaming the place of incidental thoughts and worldly ideas.
So how are we in our Taraweeh? So how are you and I in our Taraweeh? Are we lost in thought, looking at the clock? What time is it going to finish? What time I'm going to eat tonight? What am I going to do tonight? What am I going to do tomorrow? What am I going to have for Eid? What am I going to wear for Eid? What things I'm going to do? And the verses of Quran are being recited. How are you and I in our salah? How are you and I in our salah?
You would thus deserve to be hateful to God and expelled from His doorstep.
Yes, so when you're talking, and you're looking around, you're listening to him, looking at the clock, how would you feel? I'm talking to you. Oh, you're talking to me. You're talking to me, and I'm looking around. Yes, and I'm thinking about something else, and looking at the clock. Well then, you're talking to him. How are you going to feel? Ooh, disrespectful. Doesn't have time for me. SubhanAllah, his clock is more important than me. His stomach is more important than what I have to say. Listen to me. Listen to me. You know, I'm talking to you. Don't be rude. But how many of us, this is our state in our salah, this is our state in Taraweeh, This is our states. This is our states throughout our lives, subhanAllah. Not just even outside of Salah. What? We only worship Allah in Salah our whole lives. That is worship. So beware that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look on you, gaze on you, and find you somewhere else. All of us, inshallah, all of us.
Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when a servant stands up to pray, God turns his face towards him. Should the servant look behind him, God the Exalted says, the son of Adam has turned towards the better than I. Should the servant turn away again, God says the same. When he looks away for the third time, God turns away from him and abandons him. If this is the state of one who looks away physically, what about one who, when in prayer, directs his heart to the fortunes and beauties of this world?
So this is somebody in the Salah. In the Salah, he looks away once. And by the way, look, moving your head in Salah, مثل بشافعي مكروه. مثل بشافعي مكروه. How do we do it in Safiya? Moving it twice, مكروه. 3 consecutive movements breaks the Salah, مثل بشافعي. 3 consecutive movements, 1, 2, 3, your Salah is broken. Well, here's just somebody looking at the side of his eye, look at the clock. This is until this happens several times and Allah turns away from him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turns away from him. And what purpose do you have in life when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has turned away from you? What purpose? What good is it in your life? The whole world may turn to you. The whole world may be at your feet. You may have women, cars, children, wealth. There's nothing if Allah is not with you. Allah's turned away from you. Which sometimes is a sign that Allah's turned away from you sometimes, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the dunya. The dunya is the enemy of Allah. Take it. Our beloved, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, very poor. Was poor. And when he died, subhanAllah, said Aisha, anha, that in a house they hardly had any food. The day the Prophet died, they hardly had any food in the house. Such was the state of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Well, you don't think Allah loved the Prophet? Allah loved the Prophet. But in terms of wealth and so forth, wealth means nothing. It comes and goes. Quickly as it comes, quickly as it goes. The worth of a man is not in his wealth. The worth of a man or a woman is in the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How serious are they about knowing Allah, becoming close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, loving Allah, loving His Messenger? That's the worth of an individual. The more an individual wants to know Allah, the more the individual wants to love the Prophet, the more that individual has worth. The more the individual has worth. Irrespective of his financial status. And in Salah, one of the ulama of Yemen, he was praying, and the wall of the mosque collapsed. And the people ran out. And as they ran out, they realized, oh, Sheikh so-and-so is inside the mosque. They ran in, he saw him still standing and praying. And he finished his prayer. He said, yeah, Sheikh, SubhanAllah, you okay? He goes, yeah, what's wrong? He goes, don't you see behind you the wall? It collapsed, this whole wall, we all ran out. He goes, oh, I'm with Allah. I'm with Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know. I'm with Allah, my salah. The wall fell down, or doesn't fall down. The world collapses or doesn't collapse. I'm with Allah. Allah is greater than the wall. Allahu Akbar, don't we say Allahu Akbar? Allah is the greatest. There was a famous story. There was a man praying in the desert. And there was one man who ran because the animal, his camel ran away. So he was running after his camel to catch the camel. And he ran in front of the man who was praying. And the man who was praying stuck his arm out, moved out the way. when the man came back and apologized to him and said, sorry, the animal, subhanAllah, very, very, very valuable, subhanAllah. In one story, this is slightly different. Say that this man was running after somebody he loves, his wife, running after her. And the man, he crossed the man who was praying. And then he came back and apologized, I'm sorry, And the man said, oh, subhanAllah, you got my salah. He goes, oh, what kind of salah are you? You're distracted by me. You're distracted by me, thinking, you saw me coming. I didn't see you. Why? Because I'm in love with my wife. I'm running after my wife. I didn't see you. You meant to love Allah, and in your salah you saw me. I didn't see you. His heart's connected. The man realized.
This is the state of one who looks away physically. What about one who then in prayer directs his heart to the fortunes and duties of this world?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks upon the heart. That's why the ulama of the next world will focus the heart. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَى صُوَرِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَى أَجْسَادِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look towards your body nor your form. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks towards your heart. So be careful what you show Allah, and be careful what Allah finds in your heart.
God, transcendent and exalted is He, looks at hearts and secrets, not at forms and appearances. Know that the essence and meaning of worship is present with God. Acts of worship which are devoid of presence are like dust, easily blown away.
SubhanAllah. Years and years of salah, years and years of Quran, years and years of dhikr, years and years of class, years and years of worship. If there's no presence of mind, it's like dust. You know dust? You have dust. What happens when the wind comes? Look when you have nothing left. But your worship, if you have no presence of heart, which I mentioned, you've got people who are present with their bodies, but the heart's outside. Then the reward they get from the gathering is less. You have a person who's absent with his body and heart. Absent far away. And they get nothing from the reward. There's a person who's in the class, with his body, with his heart, he's the highest. In terms of benefits, he'll benefit most. Another person, absent with his body, but his heart is present. How can his body be absent but his heart is present? He wanted to attend, but something stopped him. He wished he could attend, something stopped him. And that person gets some of the reward, will gain some of the rahmah, the mercy that descends down. That person, even though he's absent, will benefit. When somebody's sitting right here, I didn't benefit anything at all. Those heart and mind absent and the body's here. Which is why some of the ulama, one of their students, his body was present in the class, but mind was absent. The Sheikh told him, go outside. Go outside. Go out. So he went. And then the student came back. And then the Sheikh said to him, what happened? The student said, SubhanAllah, when I was in the class, he told me to leave. And the Sheikh said, you know why I told you to leave? He goes, yes. He goes, I was thinking about the market. My heart, my mind was thinking about the market. But when I went back to the market, when you told me to go out, then my heart and mind became attached back to you, to the class. That's why I came back. And the Sheikh said, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That's why I told you to go. Go out and realize what you've lost and come back.
The one who is not present with God in worship is like the one who offers as gift to a great king an empty coffer or a dead maid.
Yeah. This example actually, Imam Haddad, he took this example from Imam Al Ghazali. You imagine that you go, you have a nice box, a present, a gift. You make it look very nice. With a bow and a ribbon, nice shiny paper. And you go and you're presenting it to the king or someone very important. And you place it, very beautiful looking box. Very, very nice. And the king then is very surprised. The king then opens it up. MashaAllah, nice box. Takes off the paper. Very beautiful. MashaAllah, takes the lid off the beautiful box and finds an empty box. Oh, what's this? Was it a present for you? It's a gift. It's empty, nothing in it. What Imam Abd Alawi is saying, that when we pray, even though our prayer outward is very beautiful, in terms of the conditions, in terms of the sunnahs that our ulama, our madhabs have explained to us, if we're praying correctly according to the Hanafi madhab or the Shafi'i madhab or Malik or Hanbal, but our hearts are absent, it's like you're giving Allah an empty box. Outwardly very beautiful, the sunnahs and the way you finger and everything, the way you put your hand, outwardly mashallah, textbook Hanafi, textbook Shafi. Your heart empty. Empty box. Or a dead body, yeah? You know what I said there?
Dead bed. Or dead bed.
Oh, empty box. Can you continue?
How deserving will such a man be of punishment and being deprived of reward?
What would you expect from the king? Or leave the king. Let's say your wife, those who are married. Those who are married now. Give your wife a nice box, mashallah. Very big box. Mashallah. Some of you will be sleeping downstairs. You'll be sleeping downstairs like that. You expect that. What kind of crazy person is going to live with a big, nice box, very beautiful, nothing in it, empty? What do you think Allah? How do you think Allah feels? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when salah after salah, prayer after prayer, recitation, dhikr after dhikr, mawlid after mawlid, class after class, that's all empty. No presence of heart. You only harm yourself. You're only harming yourself. Allah has nothing to gain. What do you think Allah increases in His God, in His rububiyyah, in His godlike, in His lordship? Allah increases by you when you worship Him. You worship Him or don't worship Him, Allah is Allah. Allah is the greatest. Allah is not benefited. Allah does not become more godlike when we worship Him. Allah is not changed. Allah is Allah. However, we become more angelic when we worship Him. So we're ruining it for ourselves.
Chapter 8, cautioning against neglecting the private prayers and other congregational prayers.
We should not be missing Jum'ah. Let me repeat again. Men above the age of puberty should not be missing Jum'ah. You should have an agreement with your work, with your boss, with your college or university or whatever else, in which the 1 hour on Friday that you come to the mosque, there should be nobody sitting here who misses Jum'ah. Nobody should be here sitting in this class missing Jum'ah. And hopefully nobody listening to this should be missing Jum'ah. If you are missing Jum'ah, from now on, never miss Jum'ah. Have an agreement, speak to your boss. If you're working in a hospital, or if you're working in a place where there's Jum'ah happening, okay, that's good. But if you come Jum'ah week in and week out and week in and week out and you're missing Jum'ah and praying Dhuhr, you can't pray Dhuhr, don't pray Jum'ah, what are you doing? You can't go from Jum'ah to Rak'at and just, I'm going to pray Dhuhr when I get home, on my lunch break. La, Jum'ah wajib, come to the mosque. Come to the mosque. And that's why the mosques are full. I've yet to come across a job where the person can't come to Jum'ah. Unless you're performing surgery that cannot be delayed and the person is going to die, okay, there's room. Okay, no excuse. One prayer of the week, Allah wants you to pray that one prayer of the week in the mosque. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, not wajib, it's not wajib to pray in the mosque. Like Allah wants you just one prayer, just pray in the mosque, just one prayer in the mosque. Can we do that? Is it much? Just one prayer. How many prayers in the week? How many? 35 prayers? 34 prayers, pray them at home. If you want. But in the mosque, but pray them at one prayer in the mosque. That's all Allah wants. One prayer.
And exhorting to keep the regular supererogatory prayers. Beware greatly, O disciple, of leaving the Friday and other congregational prayers, for such is the pattern of indolence and the mark of the ignorant. Take care to perform the regular supererogatory prayers before and after the obligatory ones.
The 2 sunnahs before Fajr are the best of the sunnahs. The 2 sunnahs before Fajr are the best of the sunnahs that come before and after your prayer. Dhuhr has 2 emphasized and 2 non-emphasized. And after Dhuhr has 2 emphasized and 2 non-mu'akkada and mu'akkada. Asr has 4 غير مؤكدة, non-emphasized. Maghrib has 2 non-emphasized, غير مؤكدة, and 2 after Maghrib which are mu'akkada, and Isha the same thing. 2 before غير مؤكدة and 2 after مؤكدة.
Persevere with the witr and duha prayers, and with keeping alive the intervals between the 2 night prayers.
The witr prayer should be prayed every night. Those who are sincere, wanting to be closer to Allah, witr prayer is a prayer you never leave. Our ulama, Habib Umar, Allah, you never leave witr prayer. Never leave witr prayer. Always pray witr. Witr is the prayer you perform after your sunnah of Isha. The minimum, 3 rak'at. 2 and then 1 by itself. 2 and then 1. Even though there's another opinion method of Shafi'i where you do 3 all in 1, which is the opinion in the method of Imam Abd Alawi. But either way, pray witr. Witr is very, very important. Some people only pray witr in Tarawih and after Tarawih. Nah, witr is every day, inshallah. Better to leave it before you wake up, before you pray Fajr. However, if you know that you're not going to wake up until after the time of Fajr, then the ulama say it's better for you to pray witr after Isha. After Isha, pray after Isha. Duha prayer is a very important prayer as well. The witr and duha prayer are the prayers that the murid, those who are wanting Allah, never leave. Duha, witr, the 2 prayers you never leave Allah subhanahu. Duha prayer is 2 rak'at. Some ulama say 8, some ulama say more. 2 rak'at. When you pray them, 15 minutes after the sun has risen. 15 to 16 minutes after the sun has risen. You have from then, right up until midday to pray your duha prayer. Many ahadith that we mentioned talking about the duha prayer. It increases your provisions, your rizq, your provisions, wealth. Duha prayer increases it. Many other blessings.
And with keeping alive the interval between the 2 night prayers.
Between Maghrib and Isha in Tarim, the time in Yemen where I studied in Tarim, Maghrib and Isha is a time where you wouldn't hardly find any of the ulama outside. Maghrib and Isha in the mosque. Between Maghrib and Isha is a time where traditionally in the Muslim countries, healthy Muslim environments, between Maghrib and Isha in the mosque, reading the Quran, all these classes happening. Healthy Muslim environments.
Through remembrance of God. Be extremely careful to always keep alive the periods between the dawn prayer and sunrise, and between the afternoon prayer and sunset. For these are noble times where those servants return to God receive the flow of His assistance. The time following the dawn prayer, when kept alive, has a powerful and specific effect in attracting material provision.
You understand that? Read it again. The time after dawn prayer. Pay attention.
Following the dawn prayer,
which is Fajr prayer,
when kept alive, has a powerful and specific effect in attracting material provision.
In other words, material provisions. We all know what material provisions are. Wealth, money, and this type of things. You having problems in your wealth, or in acquiring material provisions, then the ulama have said, after Fajr, stay up a little bit. And better if you can stay up till the sun's up. It's difficult. If you can, this has a good effect. What you do? Read Quran, do some dhikr. Do something useful. Giving life to the time of the Fajr has a very strong attraction to pulling, bringing your rizq, your provisions. And so our ulama in Yemen, after Fajr, they would never go to sleep after Fajr. They would stay up until the sun's up. Worshipping and teaching and studying and so forth. Doing dhikr and Allah.
Whereas the time following the afternoon prayer, if kept alive, has a powerful effect in attracting provisions for the heart.
Understand? So the time after Fajr attracts the dunya for you, attracts wealth and so forth. And the provision of the heart, the time from Asr upwards until Maghrib, that's the time, if you're doing good works, that's the time that it enriches your heart. So you have the dunya and you have the akhirah. These two times. Now, us being here in the Western Hemisphere, these times can change dramatically within the space of a few months. But in the months where it's easy to do, make the most of these times. Very short times.
This has been experienced by the people of clear vision among the great Gnostics.
If you want a hadith or dalil, there's no clear hadith dalil. However, this is the experience that the ulama found. By experience, this finds to be true. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Don't do it. But experience of the ulama has led them to put this down.
Hadith states, the one who sits where he has just prayed, remembering God after the dawn prayer, is quicker to receive his provision than the one who travels the horizons.
Here we go. There's a hadith. La ilaha illallah. It's clear for those whose hearts are open and unclear for those whose hearts are unopened. Whoever Allah wants good, man yuridillahu khayran yufaqihu fi din. Allah gives understanding. Yahdi man yasha wa yudillu man yasha. Allah guides whoever He wants and misguides whoever He wants. Allah Azza wa Jalla make us from those who have fiqh in the deen and make us from those who have guidance in the deen. Very important. How many a person will think he's guided? I'm guided. He's misguided. How many a person will think he has understanding of the deen? He has no understanding of the deen. Right? We ask Allah, oh Allah, show us reality as reality, truth as truth, and help us follow it, and show us falsehood as falsehood, and keep us away from it. I'll keep us away from it. It's a hadith dua. Those who are sincere will always make this type of dua. Oh Allah, show me the truth of this religion, show me the correct understanding. People come to me and say, many people are saying different things, many people are saying this is right and this is right, and listen to this shaykh and listen to this shaykh and this. And people are saying don't listen to this person, listen to this person. People are confused. I say to them, very simply, make a dua, ask, Ya Allah, guide me to the ulama, whom you are happy with, whom understand your deen. Guide me to the ulama who best understand your religion as you, Allah, wanted to be understood. Guide me, show me the people who understand your religion correctly, who understand your religion, who you're happy with. Oh Allah, show me who they are and make my heart recognize them. Anybody who sincerely makes that dua, Allah Azza wa Jalla will guide them. Allah will guide them. That's my answer to anybody who here has that issue, or anyone listening, not sure who you listen to or not listen to. Then ask Allah. Guide to those whom Allah, guide to those who understood the religion as Allah wanted to be understood, and make me recognize those people, and make my heart inclined towards those people. I love those people. Akhas. Wherever Allah leads you to, go. Because you've done it sincerely. As long, on condition, you do it sincerely. If you do it sincerely, then follow your heart wherever it leads you. Inshallah ta'ala. Or wherever Allah leads you to. We'll end there, and tomorrow we'll continue. Inshallah. Any questions?